Qualifying's a bit messed up at the moment, isn't it? Because obviously if you don't set a lap you're actually top, so we'll have to
Yes,
wait
that is
till the end of qualifying, unfortunately, to tell you who's where.
Well, we can have a look in the screen so far, and at this point it does appear that A58 is on pole with a very quick lap compared to the competition.
Is there a yellow flag somewhere? Or is it just...
I wouldn't be able to tell you, I haven't seen one. As we watch disabled sphere go on the step, he cannot get invalidated right now. Get it invalidated because that would mean we will start law.
I know, we're just waiting for him and Show George, who's just not that far behind him. Okay then. Hopefully we'll get the results quickly and then we can give you the grid. Wow. A58 will start on pole with a half a second gap to Bugatti and then a very small gap to Kuna Matata. Then it's all the way down to Jamesy, a second off of pole position. The player and Aaron Taylor, the only runner of the super soft tyres in that session. He will start from 6th on the grid. Show George, Fear, Jamie Dodger and Cookie Monster rounding out the top 10. We'll go through the grid properly once we get onto the formation lap. Let me just quickly post the link in the chat. Okay, so hopefully, oh wow, so Jamie Dodger's already pressed the X button. Unfortunately for him, that will probably end up in a penalty.
That would be very unfortunate.
Well, he's pressed X straight away. He's not hesitating with his strategy, that's for sure. So Salvatore, if you'd like to take us through the running order, please.
Yes. From pole with a very, very, very good qualification that we got A58. Beating Bugatti by quite a margin, as been said. Kuna Matata right behind the MP3. James E 4th in the Ferrari. De Playa in 5th. Aaron Taylor on the Super Softs in 6th. George, if that is how you pronounce his name, Show George, I don't know, but we'll go with that. In P7 right behind him on the Ultrasoft. Fear in P8, he should be showing something as he's come down from F2, so we're expecting big things from him. Jamie Dodger in P9, Coco Monster in P10, Mertens in P11, also on the Ultrasoft, so no changes there so far. St. Johnstone on the Super Softs in P12, Ollie on the Softs, the only one on soft actually, in P13, Bendo in P14 on the Super Soft, Polar plus P15 on Super Soft, and AL45 on Super Soft in P16. That rounds out the grid for the race, and let's see what it does.
Interesting, only one of the cars starting on the soft tyres though.
Definitely.
So we'll see, we'll keep an eye on Ollie, see where he goes.
The fastest strategy is to stop, if he can make it work.
Yeah, that's of course without traffic, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's without traffic, so...
So they're coming through the last sector now. Quite a long lap here at Abu Dhabi. And then we'll just wait for them to line up on the grid. There's the lovely lights there as they go underneath the section and into the last couple of corners, and then we'll hopefully get away cleanly for the first race of the season.
That will be a very good start for all the drivers here.
And only one car on the grid, which is quite good to see as well.
A clean start, that's what you want to start season with.
Yep, definitely. Plenty of drivers as well looking for that promotion spot to F2. So at the end of the day, slow and steady wins the race. Most of the time in F3, it's been the scenarios recently in well, last season rather. And we're just waiting for all the cars to load in now, as we have A5A going off. I'm not quite sure what's happened there, whether that's lag. And A5A for me has started halfway down the start-finish straight, so that's
yes, same for me.
rather interesting. He gets away, and one of the Toro Rosses is wide there through the first corner. Other than that, it looks very clean. Let's go down towards the back. And oh, there's a massive crash through turn 3, and a huge crash. I think 3 cars went out there. My word, that was a big incident there. I'm pretty sure 3 cars were taken out. Of course, no safety car. So A5A leads from Bendel, who got a great start there. Fear. Oh no, sorry, Bendel's in. I was going backwards there through the order. Bugatti's still second. Jamesy third, Kuna Matata fourth, Player fifth, Jamie Dodger in sixth, Aaron Taylor still seventh, he's on the super soft slow, remember. Smertens 8th, Cookie Monster 9th, St Johnston in 10th in the other Williams.
Currently, according to the race directors, we have a warning for disabled fear for collision with Bendel, and then we have Polar Bliss and AL45 that unfortunately crashed out at the start in that.
Yeah,
corner.
Bendel's without a wing as well, so unfortunately for him it doesn't look like.
There. Without a front wing, he is going at a reasonable speed.
Yeah, he'll definitely be in at the end of this lap though. As Bugatti is very close to the back of the Haas of A5A.
Yeah, disabled fear was definitely involved. He started P8 and he's now back in P12.
Oh. So as they come across the line for the first lap, A5A leads from Bugatti, from Jamesy, from Kuna Matata, from the player. Jamie Dodger in 6th. Aaron Taylor on the super softs. He's going around in 7th at the moment in the McLaren. 8th place, just behind him is Cookie Monster. 9th is Smertens and 10th is St Johnston. And I thought Bendel was in the other Renault. Oh, and Smertens has lost it, and Smertens is out of the race, and he's just clipped the curb coming out of turn 4 on the left hand side, and he is out of the race in spectacular fashion. I'm pretty sure that's not how he was planning on his race going, but unfortunately for him, he is out, and that is that.
So both Renaults having a very, very poor race now. With Bendel pitting for a new front wing and Smertens crashing out, which is not what you want really, not how you want to start the season.
No, not at all.
About starting the season, at this point A5A is doing a very, very good job there for him.
Really revving out the engine there down the straight.
Yes, it appears that these cars do really like that on the straight. You do really gain a few thousand by roughing them out quite high in the tires there. He's not really making a gap yet.
Oh, and he's lost the back end there, and Bugatti almost hits the rear of the Haas. My word. And just like that, your lead can go to nothing. Luckily for him, it wasn't too big of an incident.
Yes, indeed.
As that DRS will be enabled this lap. A58, not the quickest man on track at the moment. It is Jamesy in the Ferrari in 3rd.
So at this point, if we look at who had a good start, we're looking at Jamie Dodger from P9 to P6. Of course, a great start. Ollie on the soft from P13 to P10. George from P12 down to P7, or from P7 down to P12. That's not what you want.
So a couple of DRS moves potentially on the way. That's the wrong end of the field.
Not much changed apart from that. To be fair, we of course have seen. We started P4.
P4, I believe, was.
Oh yeah, okay. James started P4.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I messed up. James he started P4. No, but George definitely not what you want. Just P7 in qualifying, and then he's down in P12 right now.
Bugatti's much quicker than A58 at the moment, but that dirty air is really affecting him.
Also, behind Jamesy is Kuna Matata. Very, very close right now.
Yeah, we can see from the back of
As the player goes
oh,
wide
and who was that going wide? The player, I think,
yeah,
going
the
a bit
player
wide.
went very wide there on the curves.
Big lock up there into the right-hander. Big lock up for the Red Bull. And we'll see how this race develops further down the order. There's a bit of a train going on for P6 developing. Bugatti sets the fastest lap. Cookie Monster all over the place going to the last corner. Fears in P11, so he's done okay. He started down nearer the back, didn't he? But he's got off to a half decent start. He's got quite a gap to Ollie though in front of him, who's on the hardest compound tyre available, which is the yellow all soft tyres that he's on now. Quite wide through there, and he's got to be careful not to lose the car because it can so easily fling you into the barrier. But he keeps it together for now. As we ride on board with Bugatti now, closing up to the back of A5A yet again through this second DRS section on the track. But slipstream not really effective in this game, unfortunately, with these cars. They will really struggle to overtake, and it's going to be a matter of who can go the fastest in clean air. And at the moment it's not A5A because Bugatti is catching him even with that dirty air. You wonder how much longer he can keep in front of Bugatti with another lock up there as they go into the tight and twisty section of the final sector. Can Bugatti keep close enough to A5A as he gets out of shape in the penultimate corner? Coming onto lap 5 now. The gap is just over 0.3 of a second. And as we see Bendel retire from the session, which leaves us with only 12 runners, I believe now. Yep. Unfortunately for them, we'll keep on board with the front runners. As you can see there, a massive gap again has formed. From A5A.
Cookie Monster went. Oh, I want to say he crashed, but I think it's lag instead, because he's lagging quite significant now.
Right. Interesting as well. Bugatti is losing a lot of time in that first sector. He's dropped 0.5 from the start-finish line to the first sector line, so he's really slow through that sector for whatever reason.
The player right behind Kuna Matata right now, he has lost pace as well. Like, he was behind Jamesy as well, and he's now defending.
Jamesy's catching the two in front as well, and there's a car in the middle of the track. I believe that's Bendel's car.
Can he try again to play? Oh wow! They had to play that
these two going at it. Kuna Matata gets a bit of curb there.
The player struggling on the exit there.
Yeah, he's lost quite a bit of time there, hasn't he?
Yeah,
to the back of that Toro Rosso.
Definitely looked like it was sliding a lot.
Oh, and a big slide from Kuna Matata there. And there's no way he's going to get away with those for much longer without being penalised by that man behind him, the player who is not the safest himself when it comes to keeping the car in a straight line at the moment. And so unfortunately for Bendel, that is his race over and he leaves the session. A5A going very wide through turns 4 and 5. And look how close Bugatti is now to the back of him. This is the closest he's ever been.
If he can get a good exit, he might be able to try it.
Great shot here from the back of A5A.
Can he get it?
He's not going to be close enough, is he?
Very low wings. Nope.
He's got to try in the second DRS zone. Look how close he is now through the chicane.
Very good run.
He's surely going to get him this time, is he not? And Bugatti just not close enough at this stage. Oh, A5A there. But
A5A has to be aware with those. They won't last much longer. Keep doing that.
So through 15 and 16 now, down to turn 17. They come. And A5A, I wonder if he's getting a lot of warnings for these, because he is cutting quite a few of the corners.
From that last one, so.
Ah, right, okay. Good to know. Last two corners now as they move on to their 7th lap.
When will we do that first pit stop? That's going to be a
yeah, well,
question.
I would imagine any time from lap 8, between now and lap 11 or 12, depending on what their strategy is and how good their tyre wear is.
Will they try the undercut or will they try the overcut? I think the undercut is more effective here when you're behind someone like Bugatti is right now, behind A5A.
Yeah, I've just realised where Bugatti is losing all of his time, and I think it's because he's using 11 ballast on the weight distribution, because he is all over the place through those fast left-right-handers in Sector 1. He just can't keep the back end in a straight line, and that's where he's losing all of his time at the moment. So unfortunately for him, there's nothing he can do about that at this stage. He's going to have to look at that for the next race, which is where is the next race actually?
Indeed, now you pointed it out, he's losing it in all the corners. The back end just wants to go, as Aaron Taylor has retired from the race.
That is a shame, because he was doing well with those super softs. Who is he racing actually? As we've had a couple of pit stops. Cookie Monster, Jammy Dodger.
Jammy Dodger is going slow without a front wing.
He's going very slowly as he's letting the leaders through. Oh, get out the way! Oh my goodness gracious me! Jammy Dodger.
I expected him to be coming as well.
I'm not sure what he's doing here. He needs to get off the track as soon as he can, because he's blocking cars. Jammy Dodger needs to really get his act together here.
Yes, indeed.
Quickly before he gets in trouble. As you can see, he's blocking St Johnston there. What is he doing? And I cannot assume Jammy Dodger will be in the league for much longer, unfortunately. I'm not sure what he's doing there. We won't give him the attention.
To take him out. Yeah,
that is very poor from Jammy Dodger. I expected better.
Considering, oh no, don't. Now I start wondering how Aaron Taylor crashed out, because this is raising suspicions.
Yes. Show Jordan 7th. He's just gone past Jammy Dodger as well. The player has made a pit stop, I think.
Jammy Dodger just rear-ended Show George completely. Like, he just cut the entire corner to take him out.
Okay, well, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it at this stage. Fear, disabled Fear, is in P6. He's caught up to the back of Ollie. And Jammy Dodger's gone. Thank goodness for that.
Yes, I have a video clip saved that. This will not be tolerated in here. You can't be doing these things. It's just not gonna work. It's not how it works here.
So Fear actually not doing a bad job, as Ollie is all over the place coming into the first section of the final sector. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw Fear come in this lap actually. Although 20 laps on the soft, it is doable, 20 laps on the soft. But we'll see what he does. And he is pitting very slowly. Oh, and he's almost hit the pit wall on entry. And Jamesy, look how close he is now to the back of Bugatti.
He's definitely closing in. Can Bugatti actually try and get past A5A on straight right now? Because he has been struggling.
Yeah, well,
first 9 laps trying.
At the end of the day, if he doesn't get past him soon, he's going to get passed by Jamesy, because Jamesy is much quicker. at the moment.
Definitely.
And
oh, he has a very good run out this corner. He surely is going to try it this time.
it's going to be a bit of a... Oh, and he gets cut
has
off
to
there
back
by
out.
A58. He goes for the move down the inside. And there's contact as they go through the corner. A58 cuts the corner to keep the position. Now,
Don't know whether that's...
yeah, was he in front? Because obviously that would mean he's cut the corner to keep the position. Or has
and
he...
gained a lot of time doing
Yes,
it as
he
well.
did. Look at the gap he's got.
How far ahead he is.
And he's not dropping
Yeah.
back either. Bugatti was well within his rights to go for the move. And
should give him the position. Oh, he got a stop-go penalty for it.
also he
So
is
I
going
think he
to
has
pay the
been
price for it
penalised
in this
already.
pit stop, which he isn't going for yet. Oh no, he is going for it, sorry.
He's not
So
going
that
for it.
both
So
the leaders are
Bugatti
in.
Bugatti
Jamesy
will
stays
get
out,
the
though.
Position now. As I think Bugatti actually spat in the pit lane doing that.
Well, we'll find out shortly. Of course, the Williams will come out ahead of the Haas car
no, he
because of
didn't,
the
okay.
stop-go penalty. As you see there, the Haas being held.
And now they start working, yeah. That was a fair and square stop and go, like...
Yep, definitely. He's not only cut the corner, he's cut the corner to keep the position. So
and gained time,
Matata.
because he was free of him doing it, so...
Oh, there's a battle for sixth going on here, and the player is going to go up the inside of Cookie Monster into turn 2. Oh my. Well, that's a fast corner to do it through,
Ooh,
but
Fear's right behind him.
and Kuna Matata's going through as well.
It's-
Oh, there's
this team is
contact. And then
that
Toro
was
Rosso and
breaking
Sauber come
marker.
together. He's trying to push his way through.
How have they
And
not spun yet?
bit of
Don't
lag
know.
there from
Okay.
Cookie Monster. Yeah, it's Kuna Matata behind the Sauber. Not sure if you realised.
Gonna try it here. Yeah, I've realised. I thought it was
Is he
Fear,
gonna have a
probably
look
made it bit
Down
slow.
into
Yeah,
the
but-
chicane. He
Yeah,
goes to the
okay.
inside. And he's on the brakes. Cookie Monster's fairly late as well. And that's good racing there from these two. Giving each other plenty of space.
So George hasn't made a pit stop yet. He's now being called by Fear, who made his pit stop.
And
Super Soft.
Kuna Matata is through. He is past Cookie Monster as Cookie Monster gives him a little touch up the rear. Not quite sure if he just missed his braking zone or what there, but Kuna Matata through into 7th place now. And A5A has come out behind the player. And the player...
No, the player, I think, just has overtaken him. As he forced
Oh.
just hit Ollie right there.
Yeah,
No,
sorry, that might have
yeah.
been Ollie in front of him actually. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Ollie was in
As
front of him.
obviously the player has not pitted yet, and Ollie, is he going to let his teammate through here? Because obviously, oh my goodness, he does. But I think he may have brake checked him in this process. My goodness, that could not have been much closer to total devastation, quite frankly.
The player actually has made his pit stop. He put a new set of...
Oh, and he's in the wall. Wow. To me that looked like he moved the steering wheel to the right, but that could have just been lag or anything, but he is no longer with us.
No,
I believe we're down to
calling
10
like
runners.
twice right now. I think we
Or is it-
who went wide there? St. Johnstone went very wide behind his teammate Bugatti.
Fear is
I think
right behind Joe
Johnstone
George. And Fear
caught up with it.
has almost passed Joe George. They come down the straight into the chicane. And is he passed? That's not a very good camera angle, unfortunately. And
Yeah,
he's
he-
passed.
Oh,
Oh no, he's not. He got a
missed
touch
that.
on the back end. But Joe George
he
is
made it, he
late
made
on the
it.
power anyway, so he holds the position. Yeah, moves down into 8 and 11 are probably going to be the main overtaking spots this race. But Bugatti leads at the moment, having pitted. Jamesy is just pitted. He's on the super softs. He's now behind St Johnston, who's
As George goes very wide. going up
also
that corner
on the super
behind
softs. A58 with the fastest lap. Of course, he had a 5-second stop-go penalty, which has affected his race hugely, as he now has to pass the 2 cars in front of him. We'll actually go on board with Jamesy because he's very close to the back of St Johnston at the moment. through the chicane at turns 5 and 6 they go. And he's actually kept it in 4th gear there, Jamesy, so his turning wouldn't have been quite as good, but St Johnston looks to have got a poor run out of the hairpin, and Jamesy's right on his gearbox. Tucks back into the slipstream. Jamesy has the straight line speed. And on the brakes, gets the position. Now, can the Williams come back here? No, way too far behind, unless he's going to pull off a miraculous dive bomb, which hopefully won't happen. Yep. So that's good. So James, he moves up into 2nd place.
5 seconds behind Bugatti right now.
Yep, I was just about to say that. Just about 4.5 seconds the gap. Bugatti on the ultra softs though, so he needs to pull a gap, and at the moment doesn't seem to be the case.
We'll wait till James crosses the start-finish line, see if he's
oh, Ollie's very wide there in turn 17, and he's just been passed by Cookie Monster, I think.
It looks like Bugatti's pulling away by 10th a second.
Oh, okay, so
10th each lap, 10th of a second each lap.
Now this is where we should be able to see A5A's actual pace. He is low on fuel though, as you can see there the yellow fuel light is on, so he's running a very light fuel load.
St Johnstone, I believe, just pitted as well.
Yes, he must have, because he was fighting with Jamesy.
Yeah, he is coming out of the pit lane now on the softs.
That is interesting, because he started on the super softs and he's done almost half race distance, so he's going to have lost a bit of time by choosing that option. But he's in P7 at the moment, in front of Fear and Showjords, who is a long way behind, unfortunately for him. Bugatti leads the race. Jamesy in P2 has a bit of a gap to A5A as well. Top 3 fairly spread out at the moment.
Showjords, of course, massively influenced by Jamie Dodger.
Yep.
Trying to kill him multiple times, spinning him out. So you can't really take his pace, like, and
yeah, unfortunately for him.
Where he would be right now.
There's got a lot of gaps at the moment, actually.
If he finishes, he will get a point, as there's only 9 runners left. So
it would be 2 points, won't it, for 9th?
Yes, definitely. So at this point, Ollie, the only one to stop yet. He is in a, I would say, not the greatest position right now, because he's gonna drop down to at least P8, if he stops being overtaken by Fear and St Johnstone. But a lot of people have to pay again, so with a bit of luck he might get them back. Yeah,
that's going to be a major factor in this race, is the number of people that have chosen to go for the 2-stop. We've got 2, I think, on the 1-stop strategy, but other than that, everyone else 2-stopping, which could make this race very entertaining towards the end as we approach the halfway mark.
In a second. Please. Oh, as Cookie Monster is lagging. That looked like he crashed out, but he didn't. Luckily for him. Bugatti now starts losing time to Jamesy.
I was about to say that the gap has come down a little tiny bit.
I will be back in a second.
Okay, so Ollie still yet to make his pit stop. I would imagine he'll go to around lap 20, maybe pit even before that, so a few laps yet until he will enter the pits and presumably put on some ultra softs, but he may put on super softs. It's completely up to him, of course. Now let's see, is anyone else catching the man in front? Kuna Matata having a rather lonely race at the moment. He had a decent qualifying, but he's going round at the moment on those super soft tyres with another stop to go. So obviously Cookie Monster P5 and A5A is just not catching at the moment. He's actually dropping back from Bugatti. Jamesy maintaining the gap, so A5A losing time to the front runners at the moment. This is not good for him, especially with that 5-second stop go. It's really cost him. He would actually be in front of Jamesy without that, but he will run the fastest tyre, the ultra soft tyre, at the end of the race, whereas Bugatti will be on the middle compound super soft tyre at the end of the race, because as you can see now, he's on the purple wall ultra softs, which could work in his favour, but at the moment it's just not happening for him, unfortunately. He's not able to extract the most out of those ultra softs, and he's not pulling away at a rate that will make him feel comfortable by any means. These show George a minute behind the leaders now, unfortunately. Fit going round in P8 at the moment. He's actually behind St Johnston, who's on the soft tyres, so he'll go to the end. Whereas Ollie has still not made his pit stop. He's in P6, but being caught by the drivers behind him, I believe. There's a Cookie Monster with another little bit of lag in the Sauber. He's in P5. He will have to pit again. As we can see, not that far ahead of Cookie Monster is Kuna Matata. And A5A again going wide, dropping back though from the man in front, who is Bugatti. And as you can see, all three cars there within one straight, but unfortunately there is quite a distance, and A5A will be having to save fuel at this stage, because as you can see, that yellow fuel light is on. So he will have to be doing a bit of fuel saving at this point of the race. Not too much, but enough to affect his race pace for sure. So we check the gap now, and it is 4.1 seconds from Jamesy to Bugatti. So the gap is beginning to come down now, as those ultra softs start losing their optimal grip, and that will allow Jamesy to close in, whereas A5A just unable to close that gap, still dropping back on the super soft tyres. Kuna Matata is about 6 seconds behind, so don't think he's going to be causing A5A any problems at this current moment in time. We've still got 12 laps of this Grand Prix left, and Bugatti with a tiny little slide there, bit of oversteer, corrects it nice and easily. And we will find out rather shortly where everyone will come out after their second pit stops, because Bugatti has to use the super soft or soft tyres, so he'll be pitting relatively soon. Wouldn't surprise me if he pitted this next lap, actually, or the lap after. Wouldn't want to push them too far, otherwise they will be slower. And was that someone going into the pits? Nope. Okay, so Jamesy closing the gap again by a 10th that lap. As I remember, we said about Bugatti not being able to go as fast through that first sector. As you can see, Jamesy takes 2/10 out of him just in the first sector, which is not very long. It's only about 18 seconds long, so Bugatti's struggling through there still. That's not going to help him at all, because obviously he's got to use the slower super softs at the end, whereas Jamesy will be on the faster ultra soft tyres at the end of the race. I believe the difference is around 4 to 6 tenths, depending on driving style, etc. But a bit wide there from Jamesy. As you see that, actually Jamesy's lost 4 tenths in that middle sector. So Bugatti pulling it up a bit. Oh, and Jamesy's run wide into 17. And A5A doesn't do the same, doesn't make the same mistake, but he's still dropping back. Kuna Matata dropping back as well. Cookie Monster not really in the fight in the moment. St Johnston on those soft tyres has got Ollie behind him. And I believe Ollie's actually caught up to him slightly, possibly, as Ollie goes deep into 17. I've seen a lot of that today actually. Drivers going deep into that corner. It's quite an easy corner to lose concentration in. It's a very tricky braking zone. But at the moment, did Bugatti? No, he didn't pit, so he's still out. So it wouldn't surprise me if he came in this lap, considering he's done, what, 9 laps on these ultra softs if he's played his cards right. If he's gone any longer than that, then he's going to be struggling, because he needs to pit, well, this lap really, if he wants to get the most out of these and his next set of tyres. A58 dropping back again. Jamesy dropping back again. So whether he's using a lower fuel mix now, or Bugatti's found another level of grip within those ultra softs, we can't tell at this stage. Jamesy's wide again on Apex, and he's actually dropped almost a whole second in the last 2 or 3 laps, and Bugatti may actually be able to come out in front of him here, depending what his in-lap and out-laps are like. We'll ride on board with him now, see if he goes into the pits. And he's not, so he's staying out. And this is really not going to help him at all, because of course he has to stop again, and he has to put either a set of super softs or a set of softs on. And these ultra softs are really going to be losing their optimal grip now, as we see he's having to lift through turns 3 and 4. That is not going to be helping him at all, unfortunately. Out of the hairpin now, and the gap to Jamesy is 5 seconds, so he is still pulling a little bit of a gap. Of course, at this stage, Jamesy is happy for Bugatti to pull away, because of course he's on the slower tyre. And also I thought A58 had pitted there, but he hasn't. He's actually losing ground to Jamesy still, as Kuna Matata is around the same gap to A58. St Johnson a big gap, and he has dropped Ollie, and I believe Ollie has pitted, that is why. So he's gone on to the ultra softs for the remainder of the race. He'll be the fastest man on track this lap and next lap, most likely, as Showjords is not even going to get past him, unfortunately, and Showjords has to pit again, unfortunately for him. And it's Bugatti that still leads this race from Jamesy, from A58, and then Kuna Matata, who are possibly, St Johnson actually might have a shout of a podium in this race, depending on what his pace on those softs is like. He's in P5 at the moment. He's got 34 seconds between him and Bugatti, so maybe a podium's not on. 24 seconds up to A5A, and Bugatti is still out on those ultra soft tyres, so he's really pushing these tyres right to the end of their life, and he's going to be losing so much time. I just can't see why he would run the tyres this long, to be honest, but he's making do with it for now. James is still dropping time, as she's gained 2/10 in the first sector, but that's been a regular happening in this race. And as he goes wide into the hairpin, very wide, and he would have lost those 2/10 and more, most definitely. A58, 4 seconds is the gap. But sorry, it's 5 seconds. I'm not sure why I said 4. About 4.2 at the moment, as the gap is still 4.9. Sorry, the second sector line is here, isn't it? So we'll find out now. 5.3, so he's lost 4/10 to Bugatti that sector, and A58 is I think he's actually catching Jamesy here, because the gap was 5 seconds, now it's down to 4. Kuna Matata just on his own in 4th place. St Johnson a long way behind in 5th place. Fit, he's got to stop again, I still think. He's in 6th place, clipping that curb every time. It's really costing him, actually. But he's having a quiet race. Cookie Monster not too far behind. He might be going to the end now, actually, Cookie Monster. Ollie behind him on those ultra softs. He's in P8, and Bugatti, of course, rounding out the order. Bugatti still on those ultra soft tyres, and there's no way that he can put a set of ultra softs on at the end, because he will be disqualified for not running the mandatory tyre, which is the soft and super soft compounds. Jamesy, meanwhile, continues to close in the first sector, 4/10 that time round. Whether those tyres are actually dropping off of Bugatti now or not, oh, yet to find out. A58 continues to drop back also. Kuna Matata, he's actually 7 seconds behind A5A now. So, with 7 laps to go, sorry, 8 laps to go, Bugatti has a healthy lead with another pit stop to make, but he's pushing these ultra softs as far as he dares. And I mean, he's pulling away from Jamesy at this stage, but Jamesy must be just saving fuel, because he knows that he's going to be on the faster compound at the end, and he is just playing it cool at the moment. He's saving fuel. Bugatti's not particularly pulling away at this stage. As we look at the gap, is actually gone back up to 5.4. So Jamesy really losing out in the middle and third sectors, but that first sector he's definitely quicker than Bugatti. That's regaining his time.
I am back.
Bugatti still yet to make his second pit stop. He's still on the second set of ultra soft tyres, as we come on to lap 22 now. How on earth he's... oh, no, that's not someone going into the pits, it's the camera. I keep getting caught out by that.
On which set of tires is Bugatti for you?
Ultra softs.
He's on super soft.
Ah, well, that would explain why then. The game being very kind to us. Oh, and Bugatti with a big slide. So, all of that about Jamesy saving fuel because he's on the harder compound and not losing too much time was a load of rubbish, because Bugatti is in fact on the super softs. Yeah. Which would explain why he hasn't pitted yet.
Fair behind George now on ultra softs against softs, so be interesting to see how quickly he gets past the Mercedes. Where George has to save fuel and Fair does not. I can't imagine it taking that long.
Oh yeah, Show George is actually in front of Fair. So Fair's made his final pit stop. But Show George... is Show George on ultra softs?
He's on soft.
Right, okay, so the game being very nice to me yet again. Here goes Fair through turn 4. Down to turn 5. Oh wait, there we go, it's just popped up. So Show George sometimes has softs on, sometimes ultra softs. That's brilliant, Codemasters, thank you very much for that. Back onto ultra softs and softs. Wow, back onto ultra softs again. This is entertaining for sure. So Fair
he's gonna get a move now. Yeah, he's side
down the outside into turn 8. Show George coming back at him. Oh,
there goes.
He's been ghosting a lot actually, Show George. I noticed that when he was going side by side with someone earlier. Might have been Fear actually. He was ghosting. Fear doesn't defend the inside. Show George goes for the move. Fear around the outside gets a massive slide. And these two are going side by side through every corner possible at the moment as Fear eventually backs out.
And oh, you say that.
Gets the run. And is he going to make it stick? Show George has gone wide and he's hit the back of him and straight off into the barrier.
Crashed out.
Wow.
He has struggled to find the game.
There is no way he's finishing. Actually, he's not actually broken his wing. I was going to say there's no way he's going to finish without without making another pit stop. Sorry, but wow. Unless he's got a broken wing, he should be fine. Bugatti still yet to stop, so I wonder if he's going to try and make a one stop from ultra soft to super soft work.
Oh, you say that. Show George is going in right now. I think he knows that he is in last position, so he might as well try and maybe get a fastest lap. He was not going to catch Fair again. St. Johnstone is on the softs as well, and is Cookie Monster... no, I don't think that will happen. 8 seconds between the two of them.
I have to say, I'm very surprised they've done a one-stop from Ultras to Supers.
Well, they haven't really done it yet.
No, of course not. They're still...
Punctures could still occur. But at
5
this
laps
point,
to
yeah,
go.
the top 3 has done a one-stop so far.
Whether we'll see any punctures or not.
Checking out the F2 race lately, and they're all doing 2 stops in there, showing that
Kunomatas, that's the fastest lap.
people look at what everyone else does and they'll decide whether they go with it or they'll...
Yeah, the F1 race will be
their
hopefully
own.
quite entertaining later. Hopefully not as many incidents as there have been in here. There's a Fear in 8th comfortably now. And Bugatti looks set to take the checker flag, unless Jamesy's got something very quick in that car that he's not using at the moment. The gap of 4.7. But yeah, like I said, I'm very surprised these guys have gone for the one stop on these tyres.
Still happen.
What's that, sorry?
Punctures can still happen, punctures. We've got 4 laps to go.
Yep.
Punctures, they can be around the nearest corner they go around. So...
Yep, definitely, absolutely.
Very, very careful.
Depending on what their tyre wear is like, actually, I'd like to see what their tyre wear is, but of course we have no way of knowing.
His tyres itself, compared to a normal fresh set that's, well, have been driven a few laps, they look grain a lot. Like you can see the black stripes, like the different shade of black stripes on them.
Yeah.
Showing the wear that they do have on all of them actually, the front and the rear. So they must be hanging to the cliff, I can imagine. As George goes in again for a fresh set of Ultra Soft? Or is that a used set?
Well, is he on Ultra Soft? That is the actual question.
Now George is now on Ultra Soft.
Show George onto the Ultra Soft then. He's still got 2 points in the bag as long as he finishes the race. Right, it's
it looks like a fresh set, so...
Fair enough. But it's good for him that he's finishing the race. It's good to see people doing that, for sure. Jamesy dropping back again. See what it's like in the middle sector. Dropped again. So it looks like Bugatti, barring a puncture, has got this race in the bag. Are his lap times dropping off at all?
Bugatti or?
Bugatti.
I believe they are very consistent.
Interesting then. So his tyres are obviously still quite good.
All of his last lap at bar 2, which were a bit probably a mistake looking at the sector times, especially in the last one. He lost a little bit more than he probably would want to.
Right.
But looking fairly clean from him. Also, only 1 penalty for Bugatti. Jamesy as well. And A5A, of course, with 6 seconds now. So he will not be in contention for the win on penalties. Oh, Kunamatata, that's not what you want.
Bugatti still leads with 2.5 or 2 2/3 of a lap to go.
Jamesy definitely not catching anymore right now.
No, he's continuously dropped back. Just hasn't got the pace at the moment. He was close at the beginning of the stint, he was closing, and then he backed off and just hasn't been able to regain that time. So whether he's had to save fuel, or he's just not got the pace, I'm not quite sure.
Well,
But
looks like Bugatti's gonna have to save fuel now because he's in the minus. Oh, not anymore. So he's very close on the optimal now. Fuel. His fuel light is flickering between yellow and off, so you have to be very careful. Not that he like.
Considering A5A was winning this race, and he's now almost 13 seconds off of Bugatti, that is quite astonishing.
Yep, definitely.
He had the pace in quality, he showed that. And come the race, he's really screwed himself over with the penalty. As I'm not sure if you can hear that right now, but it is absolutely pouring it down with rain. So if you can hear anything in the background, I'm sorry.
No, we cannot hear that. But it looks like Bugatti's gonna have this one in the bag, unless he gets the puncture in the last lap.
Well,
with these tyre life and these Pirellis, we very doubt that very much. And if they make the one stop with this, then well done to them.
Yeah, that is quite a mean feat actually, going from ultras to supers. Obviously, I don't know if lap times are particularly quick at the moment, as Ollie has retired from the session, and that just gives Fear and Joe George, that's the one, more points, unfortunately. So Bugatti still leads, and he's only got 4 sectors to go, and is a bit slidey there through the first part of the last sector. As Jamesy is actually caught by a second. He's actually caught Bugatti by a second since we last checked, so he's actually catching quite rapidly at this stage. Whether Bugatti made a mistake or not, I'm not quite sure. Wide in the penultimate corner goes Jamesy. As they come across the line now, the gap from the leader to second place is 3.9 seconds, so the gap is coming down. Maybe Bugatti's
we have to
just
be aware with a massive qualification, as it just happened in F2, so if there are not any positions we made, let me make sure that we've got the race director right now. Just,
Jamesy is closing rapidly on Bugatti, but I'm afraid it might be too late. 3.3 seconds is the gap now. The gap is just surely too big. A5A dropping right off the pace. Disabled Fear in 7th. And he's in AI mode, so I'm not sure what's happened there. Bugatti still leads. Showjord is a lap down, so he'll finish at the end of this lap.
Did Ollie crash out?
Yes. I'm not sure what happened,
wow.
but there doesn't seem to be any yellow flags, so all good. As Bugatti comes into the final sector for the last time, Jamesy is not going to be close enough, I'm afraid. He's really pushed for the last 2 laps, but it's not going to be enough, unfortunately, for the Ferrari driver.
Last lap's offensive should have started a lap earlier, maybe 2 laps earlier to get a very
I'm surprised he's pushed this, unless Bugatti just really is dropping off, and he knows he's safe, sort of thing. But
well,
Bugatti
in that case is still 13 seconds behind, so.
So Bugatti comes through the final corner for the last time to take the win, and he's out of fuel. So I wonder if penalties will play a factor here. Bugatti crosses the line first, and I believe takes the win here in Abu Dhabi for F3. A58 did not look promising in his second stint. He takes provisional 3rd for now. He had a lot of penalties though, so I wonder if Kuna Matata will come across the line and beat him. Nope.
No, Kuna Matata had more than him.
Wow. St Johnston.
The question now is St Johnston, and is that Cookie Monster?
It's right behind him, but he's out of fuel. Cookie Monster's out of fuel. He's cut the corner, so he's probably got a penalty.
He's lagging a lot as well, but.
And this is going to cost him. Fear is nowhere near close enough though to pose a challenge, even with penalties, I would assume.
Nope, definitely not.
So Showjord is finished, and we're just waiting for Fear now. As he comes through the second to last corner. Well, Fear didn't really have much to do. He just picked off people that crashed out, unfortunately, and there were quite a few incidents today, unfortunately, as well. But there's always next week, where hopefully it'll be slightly better. Almost doing the calendar in reverse. But Brazil should be quite interesting to watch, because obviously there's a few more corners where you can gain time, as we see the win go to Bugatti, taking the top spot on the podium.
22 seconds for Cookie Monster. Ooh. And 12 for... Oh.
These three could be up here for the rest of the season, actually, bar Aaron and Keegan, who wasn't here today. I wouldn't surprise if they're up there quite a lot of the time. But like you said, 22 seconds for Cookie Monster. My goodness, that is a lot of penalties. Only 7 finishes in the end. Unfortunately for them, no points scored. Show George has actually come up as the disqualification, so that's not very... Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame, because he would have got 4 points as well, but he's apparently being disqualified, so he won't get any points at all.
That's the only one. Unfortunate.
Well,
that was it for this week. We'll see you next weekend in Brazil, Interlagos. Have a good night.
Yep, see you later. Tune into the F1 stream as well on the PSF1 channel. That will be live from around 8 o'clock. See you then.